wrote an email with things that didn't match up with my
Oh, yeah.
written document that I have.
And I'm guessing some of that is still in here because the edits came after.
I was just like, well, hey, thanks for your.
I don't care.
One thing I want to clarify is.
If somebody wants to edit and change it, I don't control.
I just did what you said. I haven't,
You didn't touch it?
not up there.
You married. Or somebody else in the. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Did you edit this today or since
No,
Friday?
not today. It was a couple of weeks ago.
Couple weeks ago.
That's
Why didn't
why,
it come out? It was edited.
Do I know how to do that?
Do you want me to print like what's in there right now?
that's what I did just before this meeting and made copies and sent it.
Or that might be, maybe that's like the previous published draft without the changes.
Well, I'm,
I don't know how that
certain that what
works.
Mary edited was after you guys had the red in there because we started looking at the red.
And we listen to minutes.
Yeah,
Thank
what
goodness.
we didn't, I don't remember.
Well, like I said, I really don't care what's in there.
I just want to go on record to say I'm a very short timer with iCompass.
Well, yeah,
There's my
all I always say that whatever the motions were and stuff like that, we need to have those correct in there. And I guess we need to look at those.
And I believe they are. But we can take more time on this item than we normally do.
I don't want to waste a lot of time on meeting minutes.
Did we lose something? Can we, I mean, we can go back and listen to it again. If we need to.
We didn't.
Well, you gotta review them at the next meeting. This is really the next meeting. I didn't have time to put it on the special.
I'm quite certain that everything you put in there was there at the time of edit. And if anything was trimmed, it would not have been a motion. I probably have a copy of, oh, I know, my,
Have no service.
Cara, the way that I put this in this package, I went to that meeting and I had it forwarded from that meeting over to what I have, so
Maybe that's where it got messed up.
maybe I'm confused. Maybe it got changed from what was in the agenda back then, because I didn't get it out of the meeting minutes because I was locked out.
Sorry.
No.
I can print. What?
Casey, this is different.
I have a,
What's in?
right, that's the point. I have a copy of edits, like red lines that
Yeah.
went
Now they use.
from yours to hers in between.
So I wanted all that.
Well, we just need to make it correct. Like I said, the wording is not
Yeah, I think it
important
is.
as all. It's just to get the recording of the votes.
I think it is.
Hey, let's go ahead and get a meeting going. 7:03. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Supervisors here, clerk,
Here.
Mary Phelps, Karen Gruss,
Here,
trustee Gruss. Jason Bull,
I am here.
everyone's here. Agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented or with any changes?
now, we've got a couple things on the table. Are any of these things to add to the agenda? We've got,
No, that's just I didn't get the report out digitally, so I printed off a copy for each of you, my trustee report.
Can I add something to the agenda, please? Under new business?
Pardon?
Can I add? The sexton just sent me a message. She'd like to do some cleanup in the cemeteries. I don't know if we need to add that. And the transfer station is wondering about mowing and plowing. So does that need to be added or?
I'll mow the transfer station. I'll take my brush hog down there and clean it up since they haven't mowed it. I don't think anyone.
And maybe we don't need the
Supports it.
sexton stuff because we're in budget.
You don't need the
Okay,
transfer station.
then I
I'll
take
just
it
take
back.
care of that. While I'm down there, I'll probably take dump truck and load up some of that, concrete that they can't get rid
Now, I
of.
don't see on here about, trying to set out bids again for, snow plowing and stuff for the, fire station and anything. Oh, we need to do that.
Well, we just need to go ahead and start getting bids, right? We don't really need a
That's fine,
motion to do
that's
that.
fine. I had it on my, notes to do this. Cause old man winter's coming.
So I will move to approve the agenda as presented.
I got Mary made a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Can I get a second?
Second.
Jason seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye is carried. Meeting minutes from the previous meeting.
Public comment comes
Oh,
first.
excuse me, public comment. Any public comment tonight? Thank everyone for being here. You all look great out there. Going once, going twice. Okay, we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. Minutes from the previous meeting. I guess we have two sets, one that's on our agenda package and one that's on the table.
And I move that we utilize the one that was on the table because that was the last revision and that was performed by the clerk.
Okay, and I suggest that we take item 9A and move it to under 8.
On what?
Well, that will put the emergency service talking about Spencer South Haven mini pumper where it belongs.
I think we had it under unfinished business because we had mentioned it before and then we talked about it here. But if it needs to be moved.
It was under his time of discussion.
Okay.
The way they're reflected on the table is just the same way that they were in the agenda. The emergency services were right up here, and then it went to unfinished business down here. So it carried forward.
Well, I'm looking at the one that I just was given, right?
Right,
I'm just saying that if we're gonna approve that one, let's move that and I'm okay with everything else on it. You okay with everything on this one? The one that
the
was
one
on
on
the
the
table?
table, yeah, I.
All I
guess
was
I'm
asking
missing
is we move it over to the fire, that one section.
I don't see any problem with it either way, so.
It's already on 8.
Yeah, it matches the agenda of August, but you want to move it somewhere different.
We talked about Spencer South Haven mini pumper under emergency services that night. We didn't talk about it on unfinished business.
Okay. So, you want the text that's in 9A moved up under 8.
Hey,
Is
that's
that
all
what
I'm
you
asking.
said? That.
Yeah.
That looks good. And then you start 9 with the Sad Lake tax roll.
Yep, that's what it was.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with that change.
I'll
Jeez.
second.
That was quick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, is carried. Well, I guess we didn't need to do that then. We're proving that down at the end of this. Right? This agenda package gets approved all at once.
Right. but
any
we had to
questions on
note that
the-
It's a different version.
Any questions on the special meeting of August 20th, 2024? Those meeting minutes?
No.
Okay, so we're good with that. Payroll, everyone look at the payroll, the checks. I gave you two different forms to look at.
one by checks and one by account number, so you can see what account they came out of.
Mhm.
Everyone okay with that? Any questions on the treasurer's, report? I liked it.
Thank you, Ken.
Accounts payable, anyone have any questions on that?
I only had one and that was answered, so I'm, good with that.
Okay. See, I need to have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
And would we say that's as corrected,
presented.
only from the different version?
Well, I'm gonna say, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda and previous meeting minutes as corrected.
I'll make that motion.
Aaron made the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Jason seconded it. This a money thing?
Yep,
Roll call, Gary?
yes.
Gary, Karen,
Yes,
Ken is yes, Mary,
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Did you get that motion, Karen? You all right?
Yep.
Thank you. Information reports. I, gave you guys, some new information on the budget. I did what's, basically you can look at one of those pages. We'll go down and tell you if your department fund balance is within our budget. If it said a yes, then we would have to take some action to correct that. They all say no, but that's a new part of the budget process I provided. Any questions on any of that?
are you having to generate that yourself, or does BSNA do that?
Really, I just had to generate the format once. Now I just dropped the, column in there and it'll take care of it. So no big deal anymore. We're all good with that?
Yeah, I like that report.
Fire department or emergency services? You good?
I'm good, are you good? It looks like you listed everything out there for me, so I don't really have to do much, or you're on the agent already.
I'm on G2.
You say you're G2 right now?
Just if you had any comments,
I've got things that are coming apart. Like today, the Bay 4's door is non-functional again. The building has been undervalued for a while. And so we're fixing it as we go. That's what we do. So we're playing improvise, adapt, and overcome. Pretty much masters of that. And so we're good.
sure.
Overall amount of calls for month, or the last 30 days, I should say. 69 taken in the township, majority of those calls being, traffic accident related, car versus deer, or I think I've had two vehicle or more crashes. And then the other major area of concern for our sheriff's department up here is the animal problems. We've got a lot of complaints of loose dogs, aggressive animals running around. Had a couple that happened down, 18th and 52nd and a half last week. Dogs getting loose, biting at neighbors. Just want to make sure we are advising the citizens to make sure their animals are tied on their property. If they're out and about, they need to be on a leash or some type of run line, food, water. If they're not outside, they need to be contained on a leash by the owner. So those are the only real issues we've been dealing with a lot lately, so.
County Commissioner, Kurt?
Okay, last month, highlights, basically, just the paid bills, and it's getting to be the end of our fiscal year, so we, we a lot of like grant renewal contracts and such, so kind of go off a little bit. Information, had a meeting with the, medical examiner, and, this is last year's statistics for Van Buren County. The total deaths in the county were 543, and that's down from the last 3 years. There were over 600. They figured that because of COVID, so thank goodness they're down. Deaths reported to the medical examiner, there were 206. Of those 206, 151 were natural, 33 by accident, 16 by suicide, 3 by homicide, and 3 by, intermediate, they call it. Those were, under 18 years of age and, through death. Deaths reported by age and years. Let's see here, 11 to 17, 3, 18 to 25, 8, 26 to 44, 16, 45 to 64, 63, and 65 plus 116. Accidental deaths and their cause, vehicle deaths 3, drug related 14, 1 drowning, 8 falls, and 2 others which were insect sting and carbon monoxide poisoning. Suicides by age and sex, we had a total of 16, 13 male, 3 female. Of that, 1 was 18 to 25, 5, 26 to 44, 3, 45 to 64, and 4, 65 and over. And so, all those reports were based on the deaths that reported to the medical examiner, 206. One interesting thing, the number of cremation permits is kind of stayed about the same, 71%. So 71% of all deaths in Van Buren County, those folks were cremated. And I have to remember, these numbers are based on people that actually died in the county. Not if you went to Kalamazoo, you lived in Van Buren and you died there, your death is reported on here, that of course would be in Kalamazoo. So, any questions on that?
You said there was 1 drowning?
Yes.
Was that inland lake or was that south?
Doesn't say.
Okay.
Just one. Then a couple other things I have, our next county commission, Van Buren County Planning Commission meeting is gonna be Wednesday, October 9th at 6:30, not next week, because some of us will be out of town. And also this Sunday from 12 to 5, the Historical Museum in Hartford, they're having a county history fest. And we've invited all the other individual museums in the county to come out, set up displays, whatever, so we can all kind of see what everybody's doing. There'll be some demonstrations on site and antique tractors and autos there. So if you want to, Monday is free to come in, this Sunday, 12 to 5. That's all I have. Questions? Thank you.
No, thank you. Any of the board members have any updates on their reports? they
I
wanna
do.
talk about?
I just have a short verbal report. And as you can see by the zoning administrator's report, I worked on 1, 2, 3, 4 of those for them getting information because some of the information was incorrect. Also, I was working on the couple of different things on 8th Avenue with the new people moving in a mobile home there, which is on one of the ones I helped with the zoning administrator on. Also working with the building inspector, did some driving around with him and running around checking different areas to take care of the ones that were kind of dropped when we changed to MTA, or excuse me, Michigan Township Services with Rich. So those are being followed up on. The other thing here that's on the agenda, I'll wait till we get to, but other than that, that's my actual report. Questions, comments?
Any other board member?
Ken, I will mention that on public comments, nobody spoke up, but we did get 2 letters that came in.
The 2 letters coming in is under correspondence.
Okay,
I attached both of them.
okay.
Did
Did you already go over the two letters that were submitted? We're a little ahead of the agenda for tonight.
What was the question?
Did you already go over the two letters that were submitted?
No,
Will that be coming up?
be coming up right at the end of the meeting. It's just correspondence and it's just gonna basically say that we received two correspondence
I
from,
would like to speak on Holly and mine's behalf on that, just for a moment, not too long. That's all.
That fall under public comments?
Okay.
I'm just wondering if, is that all you're for the meeting for? You can, provide public comment right now and
Sure.
you won't have to stick around all night.
Well, my wife's on her way here anyway, so. If you don't mind me addressing you guys. Thought there'd be a big turnout. I brought milk and cookies, but I forgot the milk. And this will go towards, Dave, Sherry and Dave Dubex. That's our immediate neighbor, straight to the west of our house. All right. Unfortunately, we can't even look out our kitchen window because of the house.
Can you remind me of your name, sir?
Daryl Hadley.
Daryl Hadley.
All right, I'd like you to look at these photos. Please.
That house on, Fire Lane 14?
That is correct. It's,
Is it the first house coming in on the,
when you pull in our driveway, it's the first house on the right. That's a lovely site.
first house on the right?
Yeah.
Go back there.
You're more than welcome to hold on to these so you can review them. I can always get more printed up. That's not a problem. But, this is out of our kitchen. We close the blinds. So we don't have to sit there. I mean, Holly's a great cook. I'm also a great griller. And you want to sit there and look out the windows when it's sunny out and look at that. According to Consumers Energy, there's been no power since 2008 at that house. That shows the
Where
meter.
is this house located?
It's the same, we're talking the same house.
Same house?
Yeah. And there's notes on the back. These were, I took these pictures on Sunday. Consumers Power, which I did talk to, her name is Kanitha. She's one of the specialists. Their records only go back to 2008. They have no record of service since then for that house. It's 16 years without power. I was gonna get a closer picture of the bell top, which is, I know a little bit about electricity. My father worked for Commonwealth Edison, which is the power company in Illinois. But the infestation of wasps and bees nest up there, and no. I'm not really allergic to bees, but I've been stung enough working on boats that I prefer not to. So,
There, we have a process where we handle this. What I will do is I'll write this up and do a formal complaint.
mhm,
And then basically it will get looked at by our enforcement officers.
all right. And as far as, on his letters, his letter that he wrote, really, devaluation, we can't even look out the windows. As far as the tax, we've already been taxed on that building. And it was paid yesterday. And pretty much the same thing with Nora, who started all this in the first place. Everything she says is pretty much a lie. I've had several customers come up to me that I deal with on Saddle Lake, apologizing to me because they felt what she told them, which, without any proof, of course. Apologizing to me that they didn't hear both sides of the story. So I just wanted to clarify that. I know I'm being recorded, which is fine.
You're not, well, actually, the whole meeting is.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'm just voicing my opinion. You know, we're trying to get this resolved. And right now, I'm at 51,000. I've paid my attorney. So, and believe me, money's not an option for me.
And of course, we're on the other end of it, we can't discuss that.
I understand.
Okay,
But I just wanted to make myself present, and like I said, you can hold on.
no, we can use those for, if you don't mind, we'll keep those and put those with the file.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Those were not the letters I meant when I brought up public comment. We got Beverly and Dave Reva. They sent those.
Yes, I got those today, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
so
just
those are
sent them
supposed to be read out loud,
They just sent them today.
Yeah,
right?
they just sent them today, so yeah, I didn't put them on. We'll talk about that under correspondence too, but just remind me.
Or they were both on a topic that actually is on the agenda. They could be read then, but they did request, I believe, that they be read aloud.
Okay, we can read them all.
Isn't that what it said in
We can hand them out. Where was I?
there? Sorry, we skipped.
About ready to go to emergency services, right?
Yeah, we're at emergency services.
Emergency service. I added, on the top of your, report was your medical stuff. That's a lot.
You've got a few. And there's only gonna get more. As there's more people on the planet, it's just gonna happen, right? And there's a lot of. There's a lot of, call for help. That is not necessarily emergency medicine. But there's nobody else to do it. So that's where it goes. Just the
Well,
nature of
Do
this.
you have a percentage or many of those calls we're doing that are like assist, where they really don't need assist or?
Well, they need assist. Every time we go out, there's never not a reason to be there, right?
Okay,
So there's always a reason to be there. Now, emergency medicine in my brain says you're going to die or you need to go to the hospital or something like that. We are now being wrapped into home health care as well. I need to lift the system, I need to get off the toilet, I need to come off the floor. It's a public service. Hear me when I say, it's what we do. I'm just telling you, the days of only going on emergency calls where people are dying, that time is in the past. Long in the past. And we're seeing the trend going farther this way. Especially with, it was yesterday, day before, no, it was yesterday. I was halfway through my walk and the call went out. I'm not running a mile back. This doesn't run a mile. It doesn't run 10 feet. But it took 20 minutes for the ambulance to come on scene. Not because they're doing a bad job, because they literally don't have enough, there's not enough of us to cover the calls. Ambulance, whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of EMS calls. There's a lot of fire backup calls. We went over, Lee is always our biggest, response. We always go to Lee. I don't know how they have anything left to burn, but evidently there's still things to burn up there, so we go back them up. Yeah, so there's all of that. I don't really know what to tell you other than it's not gonna ever go back to the way it was. I mean, that's all I can tell you is it will never go back to the way it was, so
What is why are taxpayers expected to pay for home health care? Isn't that covered under social services?
that's above my pay grade. All I know is if someone calls 911, 911 is required by law to dispatches. And we're required by law to answer up. If it's not us, it'll be somebody else, and whether you pay your local service or you pay somebody else, you are gonna pay somebody. Somebody's gonna pay somebody something. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I understand where you're coming from, but it's just,
Is it being addressed on a state or county level or just our
well,
township?
no, it's not that we don't know about it. Everybody knows about it. But when there's nobody to go into the career field, it's only gonna get worse. Today, the first time in, I don't even know how long, years anyway. Tim McGee, the dispatcher, the main guy. He says, today, we are at full power. Except for the two people that just went off on medical. I mean, he's always shorthanded, and that's at a desk job. right? Sheriff's department's low, the state police, I mean, I got inside information on that. They had to do away with the whole shift because there wasn't enough troopers to cover. So they had to stretch them out. And everybody's having the same problems, I mean, so.
So if you're supposed to go on, if there's a tragic accident and you're lifting somebody off the commode,
somebody
can
else goes.
that person sue? I mean, are we a
No.
liability
No.
because we're not providing?
Because we have a duty to act, I said duty, but duty to act, whatever call comes out first is what we're on. Now, if they both come out at the same time, then we prioritize, go, no, we're going to the heavy hitter first.
So when you guys go to the big meetings, so this is what the whole state is dealing with, that our emergency service is now home health care, a chunk
That
of
is,
it.
a portion of what we're doing is that, yes. It's just the way it is. And unfortunately, the only way to fix the system is just to wipe it out, start again. There's no way that's happening. I
I
mean,
think that there needs to be some education of the public, because what they do is they dial 911 and it comes in that way, and dispatch gets the 911
And they have
and it's
to
a
do something?
911 call.
well, for instance, and let's make it a fire call. Last night, someone drove by the area of 51.5 and 388 and smelled smoke. Didn't see it, smelled it. Activated 911, and we, as taxpayers, paid for 8 people to respond to a fire that didn't exist. I mean, at least for the medical, we're only sending 1 or 2 people out. I mean, there's that. So, I mean, I appreciate that and not wrong, and if we get some more revenue sources, then this particular issue will go away. But you're absolutely right, Gary. Education is absolutely key. I never want to tell people, don't call 911, right? You don't want to say that, but at what point, and this is a philosophical question. If I have my mother at home and she can't get off the toilet and I don't give a crap about her, she's gonna call 911. And somebody come and give a crap about her. And then 911 shows up, takes care of her, even though I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, watching. And there's not a blessed thing I can do about it.
Right.
Nobody can do a thing about it. It's just the way it's gonna be. And when people know that, those that will take advantage of the system will always take advantage of it. They'll find a way.
Absolutely.
Even if you close that particular loop, there's still people.
Yep.
You know, not even knowing what this gentleman was talking about, I can only assume that was a blight call. You can't take, I mean, those are the things that we just can't take care of like this. It's a bummer, but it's what we gotta do. So anyway, yeah, thanks for posting that. I mean, everybody should have got my report, and the reports, I mean, you should have been, from the point we talked about it, getting 2 different Van Buren County rip sheets, basically, and my flinger dinger, my overall for the entire year. So to the best of my knowledge, those reports are clean and accurate. It's just, it's a bugger, and it's draining. It's why people leave the service, because they didn't get into the service to wipe butts and move people. Not just saying that that's not necessary, but it's not EMS's job to do that. Emergency medicine rather than long-term care. And like you said, many people don't understand the difference. And what do you do if no one cares about you and you're by yourself? I mean, and you don't have any money, and I mean, you can go down all kinds of rabbit trails, and we could, what if this to death, but the long story short is, we can either be a human being, suck it up, or we don't. Those are our options.
I
Sorry.
you know what my problem is, JC,
I do.
is social services are paying for that care. And we're asking our taxpayers to pay our people, our personnel to do that. It's hard for me to grasp that there's not somebody at another level that we can say, hey, what's going on? Or maybe we have to charge for services.
I mean, that is always something that, I mean, when I came here, this was in the reality of it is, I went from one service to a private service to here, right? So I've had 3 in my entire life. But this is the only area that has not said, okay, you're calling the ambulance, you're calling out the 911, here's a bill for that. Regardless of what the millage does, that's something different. here's a bill for our services. And it won't take long before they'll either fix it or pay. I mean, those are the options. But again, if they can't pay, then what are you gonna do? Take their land and then what happens with them? And now you have a whole different problem. I mean, it's one of those games of cards, making a house, which when you get a full out is Jenga, right? So. I don't know if there is a solution. The only thing I can do is train up the next generation to be ready for it. That's all I can do. So,
Well, there is a solution, but it has to start at the 911 level. It has to start at central dispatch.
let's just start at the
It's-
funding level,
Well, yes and no,
right? I mean,
yeah,
this is all theoretical. I mean,
right,
there's really nothing that we're gonna do to solve that tonight. I'm just telling you the way
yeah.
it is from my end. And I totally get where you're coming from because
Yep.
I agree.
And we get where you're coming from, and that's the way it is.
I just, as representing taxpayers, as a taxpayer who pays a lot of taxes, when I think, okay, I'm paying for social services, I didn't sign up for that. I paid for emergency services. So it's a little hard to.
So then it goes back to what kind of neighbors, I mean, where you go philosophical.
Yeah.
But this, I don't, we could go all night. I could talk about this all day long.
Well, we don't.
Well, we need to move on.
All right,
I understand you need a mailbox for
Yeah.
delivery of mail for emergency services. Do
Yeah.
you have an estimated cost to be able to put that in?
dude, it's like, what, $50 for a mailbox or something?
I don't know.
How about not to exceed $100? I don't think you guys don't need to do any of this. I'm just telling you that it was going to happen.
Oh.
It's gonna come out of my budget. You don't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is not gonna be anything. I'm gonna go down there and say, would you please stop giving me, nasty grams that you don't wanna deliver my stuff? And I'm gonna put it in the mailbox. Rather than making it easy on you, just putting it all in one spot. Cause you dang well know that 12316 goes here. But if you don't wanna do that, that's fine.
Now, you probably,
Now you get to come out to my spot and deliver everything rather than bringing it here with all of, hey, your choice, baby. You get to choose.
well, you're kind of roped into this with the regulations from the postal department. I mean, they
Yeah.
changed some things, so you're kind of
Totally cool.
at bay with them.
It
But
will, it's not gonna affect us one iota.
Okay, can I get a motion to install a mailbox at the fire station number 2, not to exceed $100?
I'll make the motion.
I don't think he's needed that.
He doesn't, but
It can
It's
come out of his
fine.
budget.
That's his
You,
deal.
you just want him to do it
Yeah.
as miscellaneous?
He said he was.
No, it was good for us to know though, because
Station one
the mail
supplies.
usually
I got
comes to
plenty in
this
there.
office.
Yeah, his deliveries need to, yeah, these boxes.
I see what you did there. You started with
Yeah.
a $50 mailbox and then we moved to the pumper truck.
You,
Hey, you guys don't need to worry about the pumper though. They sold it. It was such a great deal because it was less than half. They sold that sucker. It's gone. Don't worry about it.
well, we can take that off then.
do you have to back a little bit back to your mailbox? Do you have to get, anything from the post office of where they would like that or?
I'll stop by and talk to her.
Okay, yeah.
Before we put it in, we're not just gonna shove it up there and just say, hey, deal with it. Right? We'll ask them where they want it. But yeah, and so, I mean, the discussion of the mini pumper is moot now because they did sell it. I talked to Grant Spencer tonight. He says, I'm sorry, but I sold it to somebody else. I'm like, well, I would have, it was a great deal. It was less than half. And I totally get deficits, I get it. But again, it's been a lot of years where we've scrimped and saved and done nothing. Now the bill is coming due. Stuff is going to come apart. And our options are either A, fix it, or B, shut down. Those are the options, because we're getting down to that point. It's not an emergency, it's not a holding you hostage, it's a truth. We have a beautiful rescue truck. We can run that rescue truck probably for the next 10 years, assuming no one crashes it. But the engines are getting on to being dead. I mean, 70, we've exorcised the demons and we've expelled the gremlins, but that is about the 5th time we've done them. They know where to go and hide. And 70 is the newest of our trucks. That makes nervousness. I mean, that's 2007, I think. Anybody in here driving a 2007 or older? You're the only one, Grandma.
Mhm.
Love you anyway, though.
They still
65
run.
Mustang doesn't count.
I don't have a Mustang, but thank you. Good
But,
idea.
but you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying, the stations are coming apart. Oh, speaking of station coming apart, there's a nice smell. I think we should have our next meeting, your meeting should be at the station. I think it should, because the crap smell is awesome, because the septic is still not fixed. And that was a flaw back when they built the sucker, and there's not a blessed thing I can do about it except keep throwing money at it. So until we fix it, we're just gonna, it's literally a drain. So, I mean, those are things that we've gotta get fixed. I've been telling, and we've been having the repair guy come out, but it's gonna take ripping the whole parking lot out and doing a whole new septic, cause it's all chickadee chain.
Septic's under the parking lot.
The line to get to the septic's on the parking lot, and
Is it
when they
broken?
put the parking lot in, it was substandard. Nothing we can do about it now. There is nothing we can do about it now except whine and piss and moan and fix it. So I mean, those are the things. I got Joe painting stuff and trying to rehab it as best as we can, but it's a Band-Aid.
I don't recall the septic being on
It
our
hasn't
agenda
come
since
up,
I've been here.
That hasn't probably come up since you've been there.
We
We
talked about it several, I've talked about
Yeah.
it several times.
Yeah, he's
It's
talked
brought
about
up.
it might be before he got here, but we talked about putting a lift station in there and pumping that across your parking lot, right?
Yeah, but the problem is there's a dip somewhere between the lift
There's a
station.
drop down that they shouldn't have in there on the other side of the asphalt.
Right, but there's nothing we can do. It's under the asphalt. Truck had rolled over and crunched it down.
Did you see the diagram that I got from the county on the septic system?
I don't believe I have. I'm going off of my repair guys that have put cameras down the poop hole. Yeah, they say weird things.
I went and got the actual
Okay,
drawing, and they showed it after the asphalt, that it drops down about a foot.
that's not our problem. It's under the asphalt.
So it's under the asphalt?
What's the price tag?
Hmm?
What's the price tag?
We don't know.
Haven't started working on it yet because right now is that what we're gonna work on right now?
Yeah.
Right now, what we've been doing is flushing it, rotor rooting it, flushing it, hoping it holds, pumping the tank. I mean, we've done all of the fixes that a homeowner would try before giving up and, letting a match. Of course, that might be explosive. Methane. Stop it. It's right at the fire station. Anyway, I put that out there. We don't need to worry about the mini pumper anymore. I mean, we're still working on the quotes, right? Cause that's what got us looking at that. Is we had the bill from EV Plus. Grant did say he would love to sit down and talk with us about what that would look, and we wanted to get 3 anyway to get that in our mind. So we're still going forward with that. I'm just saying that truck is gone.
Didn't it have no guarantee, no warranty, because it was in a rear end accident?
No, it's a brand new box.
That's not
No,
what was on the
it was
paper.
written right in the
The
thing. There was no
contract
guarantee.
said right in there.
As is where it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It doesn't matter anyway, it's gone.
Well,
So
that's
yeah.
gone.
it's a moot point.
Viewpoint, yep.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised somebody bought it without a warranty, but whatever.
Did you get you ever get a bid for fixing that, drain line and septic?
We're in the process of it now because this is the 3rd time. I'm like,
Yeah,
give me some quotes because I'm good and well done with this.
yeah,
I've been trying not to spend money
I understand. Some things
and the world is not letting me not spend money. It's frustrating me.
Not, I'm just saying, since some of this is gone under your section, I think we should move on.
Sure.
unfinished business, renewable energy. Jason?
I don't really know how much discussion we'll need to have tonight. I can give kind of an update. As the board is aware, our original plan, the timeline that the planning commission had set up under the premise and directive of the board to try to work through the process by the end of September, based on the potential opportunity to take advantage of the Eagle grant. For that reason, or for the Eagle grant, deadline got extended. For that reason, but more so really, due to the lack of a special use application from Vesper, which was also anticipated this month. We don't have that yet. So I think in the end, it's a good thing that both things happen because we can slow down our timeline a little bit. I think that with the 2 open houses that we had, that were pretty decently attended, I'd say 30, 35 at both of them. You'll see in my report from this month, we actually logged all the questions that were asked. So I think at this point, the planning commission has a pretty decent idea what some of the, well, what the primary concerns are, about the project. But, right now, I think I can, for an update standpoint, and Kurt maybe can speak to this a little more, but the, Van Buren County Planning Commission reviewed our draft ordinances regarding the storage system, and is the correct term concurred?
Yeah, we concurred with that.
Okay. So, at the same time, Vesper has a copy of those draft ordinances as well. And they've identified a couple of the issues with the ordinances that might potentially be a snag. But I can say, this is my personal opinion. I believe that the project manager, Rich, genuinely wants to work with our township to come up with workable ordinances. We all know that come November, the state has the ability to put this thing in our township, whether we like it or not. I still think that our best move is to try to draft workable ordinances that at least get us in a better position than what we would be if the state comes in and utilizes their ordinances, which will no doubt be much less restrictive than ours. But we're now kind of working, well, I should say Vesper is working through their special use application because we've identified a potential glitch in the survey on the site plan. And they're trying to determine how that plays into their special use application. I will say that, going back to them, my opinion that they're trying to work with our township pretty hard. One of the concerns that was brought up at both open houses was the sound issue. And, their engineers have already identified a plan that they would be able to build a sound wall around the storage system that would reduce the decibels. And he shared with me that the cost of that sound wall would be $2 million. So they're willing to try to match our ordinances as best they can. And I believe it's genuine. I mean, because they don't have to, they can just wait it out. And when the state takes over, they can do whatever they want. But I guess that's basically my update. I think that they are also working on some other possible plans that would take into account additional concerns that were voiced by our residents, including setbacks and the wetlands and things like that. They're looking into other options to address those concerns. But as we stand right now, the planning commission is technically waiting for a special use permit application from Vesper. So I would anticipate that if they're able to get that in order, we could then put on our agenda for next month to review the draft ordinances and decide if we want to move forward at that point.
And it's still my understanding that Attorney Kaufman's working close in hand with that being on the state level and.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
And was there still some question about what abatement they actually would be able to get? Because I think your Connexus or whatever thought maybe they knew, and I think Ken thought, and I thought Catherine
Yeah.
thought something new might be written.
Catherine had forwarded that to one of her colleagues who specialize in that area, but we have not heard back from that person yet. So, there seems to be, I wouldn't say conflicting information, but different information about which abatements might qualify, which abatements might not qualify. So I don't think we have enough information to make any sort
Yeah.
of
Mhm,
assessment on that.
mhm.
Thank you.
And I stand corrected on the two letters that we got that pertain to this topic. They did not say to read them out loud. They said Adam's correspondence. But it's not the ones that you already have in there.
Okay, we'll add those.
Okay.
We good with unfinished business?
Any other questions on that or anything that the board wants me to take back to the planning commission as we're kind of waiting for more information to come in?
Can
Sounds
we
like-
do anything about Made in America?
I don't know that yet.
Sounds like there's quite a few variables yet that have to be worked out to make any kind of choices or decisions,
Well, for our purposes,
Right.
any decisions we need to make at this level, yeah, we
Yeah.
need some more pieces, parts of the whole process to come in, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, thank you for your work on this.
Yes, absolutely.
And if I may, you said I'm pretty much done. We just wanted to give you this to prove that we've already been taxed on that pole barn. You can put that with our file. And like I said, that was paid yesterday. It shows the assessment.
Thank you. Put that with the pictures. Okay, we're gonna move on to new business. I guess we need to discuss how to handle a request for property assessment cards.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago that we made an agreement with BSNA, and I did dig it out actually, because I had just a vague memory of it. Where we were given an option, how we were gonna pay for assessing and, how'd they put it? End users cost, I think either we were gonna have to pay for an annual fee, or we could select the option of pay per hit, is what they were calling it. And I believe the board at that time went with the pay per hit, which is why it's set up on the county right now that if somebody wants one of those cards, they can go in, log in and pay for it themselves and get it. But it was part of an agreement with BSNA. I wasn't on the board at the time, but I remembered hearing about it.
The property cards is different than what's available on the BSNA website.
So
Property
maybe
cards
that's,
have both sides. They have everything square footage and that. What you get for the $6 on BSNA is basically like the tax record, except it's supposed to have little drawings of the house or pictures of the house.
okay,
So
so it's not the
I
identical
think that they're
document.
two different things, yeah.
But according to the minutes, this was passed back at that time to pay per
Does
hit.
it say what we checked up on this, so.
Yeah, it says move to approve BSNA proposal for pay per hit proposal for assessing. And this was in the packet. So it does pertain. But on kind of a side note, how do we handle any other FOIA? If they, no matter what somebody's asking, if it's a public record, we're not saying no. But isn't there, I mean, you're the FOIA coordinator, and I haven't heard any reports of any FOIAs.
We haven't had any for it,
You've had zero?
I think the last one I did
With
is for Jackson County. And I informed them that we would be more than happy to fill the request, but we don't have it.
Well, I think this is two different animals.
Yeah,
the way
I
it
do too.
is, yeah.
Oh.
If it's a FOIA request, then we have to handle the FOIA. But if it's somebody going on and getting information that's public from the county, then they pay the fee and they get the information they want.
Because in a way, this isn't our record, it's BSNA's
That's right.
record. That's why it seems different.
Yeah, the property card is our record.
Okay,
You won't
but
find the
wouldn't that
property
be a
card in-
FOIA?
That would be a FOIA.
That would be,
I-
okay,
I told Roger if he wanted, he had a FOIA.
okay, and all that means is write FOIA on the request, right? I mean,
Or you
it's
can
not
do it
that
verbally, we could
complicated
verbally
to
say,
do
I
a FOIA.
want this document under the Freedom of Information Act, and
It'd be
then the
best to
person would have to
it'd be
write down
best
it
to
down
have
and
it
tell
right.
me, and I. Gonna take time and whatever price per page,
Yeah, all of it's on the website,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why.
you just gotta follow the process. That's what I
So have
told
you
him.
already told him that?
Huh? Yeah, I
Already
told him that.
that, okay. And then this BSNA thing though,
It sounded like he was harassing our assessor, and that's why I called him, and told him knock it off.
hmm,
And if you wanted the document, fill out a FOIA request.
I think we should clarify, Karen, you and I can call BSNA and clarify what the online is, so we know, because we weren't on the board when that
right,
was passed, so
right.
we should have more information next time, we can call them and.
And it was an unusual request, anyway, to get that.
You can get it through the back door anyways. There's a back door to get in to look at that.
I don't think we should advocate for that if we
I just told you,
accepted an
there's a back
agreement
door.
for somebody to,
No,
I mean, BSNA is looking to cover their costs.
Yeah,
So,
and most people say it,
yep,
if they want somebody else's.
it's called
Yep.
following the procedure.
Yep,
so anyway, you've already handled it with him.
Yep.
And we know that we actually did sign something. At least,
yep.
the minutes say we did, I haven't seen that.
Other thing on new business is, parking lot lighting. You guys be careful going out tonight, watch tripping and falling because their lights don't, work right now.
I took a look at the cell that's out there. I also checked for, electricity from the switch, because the switch is operable. And I went out and I checked for, electricity at the pole, and there is none. So, my theory is that, because I disconnected this, I keep wanting to call it a solar cell, that's not what it is. It's a what?
Sensor, light sensor,
Yeah,
person sensor,
what?
the sensor,
Right,
movement sensor.
yeah, and that, there's no juice there, so I couldn't tell if it's working or not, but it doesn't matter if it's working or not. I bought a new one to put on there, but there's no electricity there, because I undid the wire nuts and checked the wires themselves coming about, out of the.
Had I removed the switch already when you did that?
Yep. No, I had the switch on.
You had the switch on, okay.
There's
I'm
power at the
telling you.
switch,
Huh?
there's power at the switch.
Yes, there's power.
There's power to
to
the switch, there's a
So
short
there's a
somewhere.
break somewhere. So I contacted, Quinn's Electric out of South Haven, Taylor Electric out of South Haven, Clements out of South, and New Wonder, who did our electrical boxes and stuff here. And, Quinn is the only one that got back with me. I asked if these people could at least look at it or check it out, so we'd have some information for this meeting. Quinn is from South Haven, is the only one that got back with me. We had a really good discussion. He actually stopped here on another call and checked it out, and he does not have a bucket truck or a lift, and he says, I'm not climbing up on that pole because the pole is either broken underground or it's loose. It's dangerous. Let's put it like it is. So he said, if the board wants him to maybe look at it and work at it, he would have to borrow a lift or rent a lift. He has some other people that he'd have to hire. So I said, right now, I appreciate what you've done. The other three people have not gotten back with me at all, no emails, nothing. So at this point, I would suggest that when people leave tonight, do what supervisor said, be careful, it's gonna be dark.
Can
We're
I make
working
a
on it.
suggestion that we do have a big election coming up,
Yeah,
that
that's-
maybe we buy, maybe we buy some solar spotlights to at least like light up the sidewalks?
I think we do have some work lights here someplace, I think
Okay,
that we could,
Bring the truck
Right,
down.
based them all off.
Anyway,
I can bring the truck down.
They wanted to
if you
leave
want, if
before it
it's
got
gonna be
too
done.
dark.
Gary, did he give you any indication of a price range at all?
no. No.
Okay,
The New Wonder, I think I'm pronouncing that correct.
Need one.
Not New Wonder?
Need wonder.
Okay, they retrofitted the existing lights up there to LEDs. Now it's, LEDs do burn out,
yeah,
but not typically, and they haven't been up there, they've been there, I think, 3 years.
Year 20
So they're
2022.
relatively new. I think what really needs to be done is there needs to be a concrete footing put in there. There needs to be either a metal or a fiberglass good pole put in there, and rewired. That's what really needs to happen. And if it's broken someplace underneath the,
Pavement,
the asphalt here, then you got two choices. You can either tons, another one in there, I can't remember what you call it, but anyway, with a conduit and then rerun it, because the wires coming out of the conduit that's there is Romex. So I got a hunch that conduit only goes in the ground and is not totally connected, because Romex, you can bury. And I'm guessing that's what happened. I don't know, I don't know, but I can tell you
Well,
there's no
that,
electricity.
that plastic pipe going down on the ground stops and it's just
Yeah,
bare
yeah.
wires that run in here.
That's buried Romex, that's all it is.
The other thing, I guess the next thing we could do is we could go out there and we could, take that sensor off and take the black and white wire and tie them together and come back in here and see if we got continuity to see if that wire underground is good or bad.
what, how about we just,
again, emergency services standing
Yeah.
on.
how about we just fix it? Why can't we just fix it?
Yeah.
I mean, we left our PC meeting the other night and there were people that parked out there and it was pitch black, pitch black.
Yeah,
We need to fix it.
We could have, I can recontact.
let's
these-
race with the septic at the fire station versus the light fixture here and see who can get it done first. Make it a
And my property
competition.
that I don't have lighting, I put solar, more expensive solar
Well,
motion sensor in it.
since we're talking about the parking lot lights, why don't we authorize some sort of funding for it so that we don't run into problems having to wait for a board meeting to fund it?
Sounds like
You
you're gonna
wanna
have
look
problem
at
finding someone to do
quotes, or-
Gary, did you get any
Twist the wire.
any idea of what
No,
it might
I
cost?
don't even know what it is.
Why are they
What
dead
was
wires?
it quote to do all the lights in it?
They
About
said-
$4,000, wasn't it?
Like your figures.
What you gotta, you just at the top.
No. I think it was
Is there an
2,300
electrician in the house?
I think.
Do you have an idea what it would cost?
Well, I'd have to troubleshoot the problem, then I can give you an idea. I mean, I think Gary did some, but I think looking at it, if it's the Romex in there, if it's a break or, yeah, so it's a matter of where the fault is or it's open and then.
Do you want the job?
Pardon? No, I can just, whatever, help and, yeah, I don't need that. I'm not a licensed electrician in the state here, so.
You're either gonna have to do like they do with the fiber optic, you're gonna have to burrow in there and put some kind of a,
Directional bore,
whatever, yeah. Or you're gonna have to cut a slot in the,
right?
and put.
That needs to be fixed before someone gets hurt.
But I also don't like hearing you say the pole itself is loose and janky. I mean, is that thing gonna fall over on somebody's car?
Well,
I think it's been leaning a little bit for a few years already.
Well, it's not leaning as much as it was, because when I had the work crew out here, we dug a hole on the side of it. And I pushed it with a tractor to straighten it
Use
up.
the duct tape when you need it.
Yeah, I duct taped it.
I can tell you Quinn said he grabbed that pole and he could move it.
Yeah, it moved.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, he's a strong.
It's,
It's gotta be, it should be just plain replaced. We talked about this before.
Well, let's make
Can you
a
find
motion
money in
with
the
some money.
budget there, Ken?
well,
We have
I'm gonna
maintenance.
say I'm impressed that we got $39,000 more of revenue than I was expecting to have. That wasn't even listed on our revenue that we were
Are we
expecting on our
sure
budget.
that it's correct?
I'm sure that it's correct.
Okay.
I
Because
would-
it has nothing to do with the stuff that we we said we're gonna get
Was it
this
from
much,
the
but it's,
state?
no, it's not from the state. It came in from money that she got from the election, money that we got for, building permits and items like that. Then we got some refunds that help with it, but there's $39,000 more than
If the
what I
board,
was expecting.
if the board would like, I can recontact these people, tell them we need an estimate to replace this pole and the lights.
Well, my fear, Gary, is they're not gonna call you back again, and we're gonna have more meetings in the dark here, and someone's gonna get hurt, and we're gonna have a lawsuit, so.
What can we do temporary?
Well, we can authorize some money and we can actually go out and find somebody that'll come in.
Yeah, yeah.
The solar lights really work at my house, but, you know,
Are
I
you
mean,
talking about stuff in the ground?
in the
Or-
ground, we have one on the corner, and when someone walks by, including every deer there is, the light comes on. But
Yeah, we should do something at
We have
least
to have
temporary
something out
while
there.
we get it fixed.
Well, you know, that don't sound like a bad idea. Why don't we buy, for each pole, solar light?
oh, that's a genius. idea.
Like you had out there, we could just get one that's got the two
Yeah.
lights on it,
Yeah,
and we'll put those out there.
Put a nice big one on the flagpole.
I
We
can
could do
come
that.
over here with my
JC
tractor, I can get up 12 feet or so.
JC's got a bucket.
Do that. What do you mean I got a bucket? I got a bucket.
Well, I got a safety belt and a harness,
Oh, Lord.
safety fall.
I
Let's,
love the temporary nature of all this and troubleshooting the problem quickly, but I doubt solar lights would,
illuminate.
qualify as like commercially acceptable lighting for a public
Right,
parking lot.
right.
We need to
We-
get
we-
actual
we didn't-
proper
Yeah.
parking lot.
We
lighting.
didn't say that it would be that, we say it would be temporary till we can get it fixed.
Let's get some quotes then or something.
Well, you can just buy
Have you
those
tried-
at Menards.
Have you
or-
tried Yarborough
Yeah.
Electric in Bloomingdale?
He does, yeah, well, we could try him.
He might not be able to do the pole. I know he does commercial,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Well, we asked. Never mind.
everybody
Yeah.
bring your lighter and your phone until we get it fixed.
So why don't we say we're gonna spend up to what, $300 for some temporary solar lights? Or is that too much?
Well, I mean, I think we could kind of wrap it all into one. I don't think it's gonna be super expensive, but we need to like, let's approve something for the electrical repair and then anything temporary.
Well, my guess would be, and this is strictly a guess, between $5 and $8 to put a pole and new wire, and they probably can use those receptacles and the bulbs that are there. But,
If you're gonna repair it and put something new in, put something new in.
yeah,
Right? No, I get what you're saying. Maybe use it for something else, but don't reuse stuff that's out.
You don't want it at the fire station?
Not even a little bit.
Tom, does that sound like a fair price for someone to put new lighting in a commercial
I
parking?
mean, you're talking about poles and that stuff,
That's not his.
I
business.
actually have to look at it and see, I don't know what we're, yeah, pay attention.
Well, you can't see it now.
it's just a plain rotten old telephone pole.
So would you say, what, kind of 10 grand?
Well, I think I'd say 5,000, that'll seed it and that'll get it started and they can get as far as they can at the 5 and then we'll have a board meeting to approve the additional expense. They can bill us for the rest.
I'll make a motion to repair, replace parking lot lighting not to exceed $5,000
I would add that temporary light in there too, because
with, yeah,
it's,
and
need
some
it.
temporary lights. Got that, Kara?
Did you say not to exceed 5,000? Cause that's a starter.
correct.
I'll second.
That's money, Gary,
Yes,
Karen,
Sure.
Ken is yes, Mary,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
When I climb that pole, do you wanna know about that, JC?
Not unless you splat.
When I climb that pole, do you
I
wanna know
don't
about
wanna know.
it? Okay,
Get a picture though, for posterity.
picture. Okay, it's time for public comment.
Just want everybody to know that I'm running for reelection, in case you don't know that, and I do have opposition this time around, first time ever, so appreciate your consideration there, both. I do have yard signs, but I'm not gonna hand them out in the dark, so.
You know what you're getting.
So,
You could leave some by the door and we'll get them tomorrow. I would like a yard sign. You can leave it by the door if you don't wanna,
oh, I don't know,
no tripping.
Yeah, that might be considered, you know.
Within 50 foot of the polling
They're
station.
not allowed.
I think that's,
Campaign stuff at the township hall.
Behind her face.
on election
Okay.
day.
No other public
I
comment?
hear you running.
This should be a good meeting, I think. Correspondence, I have received, and I believe the clerk is also was copied on it. We received a copy of all the, petitions that were submitted to the zoning board of appeals related to the property on Saddle Lake. With a pole barn. And then we received, two letters, one from Nora Glad about the accessory building, and, Sherry and David Dubek. About that also. And we have,
From Beverly Shear.
we have a
Dave-
Beverly Shear and Dave,
Is it Reva?
Reva? Dave Reba
Reva.
Reba, yeah.
have, sent in letters, not in favor of a, renewable, battery storage facility on 50th Street.
Mhm.
All the board members got that email, correct?
Yep.
Do we need to read that into the record or just?
No, I
place
looked
it in?
back to see if she requested that. She said in
We
correspondence.
all have it. Jason, I would ask you to share that with the planning commission.
Sure.
And, I guess we're at the point of board comments. Gary?
Just so the board knows, we're probably gonna end up with another court case with, some squatters on 51st and a half Street, just south of Baseline. I've been out there today, along with our sheriff's deputy, and, we visited them, probably 3 weeks ago, and before that, last spring. And they've only, what they've done is moved more stuff in there. So I have pictures, and I also was able to take a picture for the health department of, sewage going into the ground. So I'm gonna forward that to George Friday. And, see if we can't get, that condemned that way. I've talked to the property owners in, the UP. Since April, and there's a gentleman that is the son of the owner in Allegan, who's buying the property from the estate. According to Register of Deeds, he doesn't own it yet, the estate does, because he hasn't paid off the land contract. So in a nutshell, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to serve the, get a hold of, our attorney and have him drop a form and serve the, executive of the state in the UP. She doesn't answer my calls anymore, the guy in Allegan. His phone doesn't work anymore. I stopped there and left cards on his car and on his house. And I haven't heard anything from him, so we're done playing nice. We're gonna have to go through the attorney and get it done, just like we did on 8th Avenue. Sorry, but that's.
No, well, you know, we have to do that. I mean, that's. Jason?
No other comments?
Karen?
I'm pleased to say that we made it through the final day of summer tax collection yesterday. That doesn't mean more won't trickle in and come in the mail postmarked, but at least we got through the big crunch day yesterday. For summer.
Gary?
Just time for the next and last election, hopefully, this year.
I want to thank Cara for fixing my computer problem.
Sorry, that's kind of my fault.
And I don't know how that whatever happened there, I don't know. I didn't do it in iCompass.
Right, iCompass is a mystery still.
Yeah, and I
But-
noticed
Oh,
some,
not for Kara, she's
Hey,
got,
our mystery.
she
She's the
likes messing
most,
with it.
she knows the most of all of us, but it's,
Jason, I think you're doing a real great job with the battery station. Residents' opinion is very valuable and, we need to move, but we need to make sure that we do it right the first time, so don't get too worried about too quick.
You got it.
Go ahead, JC.
You were asking about a replace main line from building this, this just came in the email. Replace main line from septic tank and install clean out, 6,500. From Lake Shore Pond. People have been working on this.
That's not as bad as I thought it could be.
Actually, I thought it was gonna be worse.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I'm just telling you, I just got the email, I was just looking through the emails just now, I'm like, hey, look at that.
so it gives you, you have to get another, just have to get more than one quote. Do you have to get more than one quote?
I don't know. I would think that would be appropriate to do, but like you were having a problem, Lake Shore is the only one that's been answering us for all of our stuff, so.
It's hard, because when you get one person,
I'm just saying, yeah, that's,
Do you have any sense where you might end up on your budget?
I hate to ask this.
I'm fine with the budget right now.
Do you think that we could actually go out there and dig on the other side of the asphalt and find where that pipe is and put a clean out there where they don't have to?
I can try anything.
Isn't the problem underneath the asphalt someplace?
Well, that's what they're
According to the
thinking.
cameras.
I'm not thinking, I think it's straight pipe under there unless we collapsed it.
According to the cameras,
That's
How
what the
many feet
problem
was
is?
how many feet was what?
How many feet did you have the camera in when you found it?
That doesn't say here. I already tell you that.
Cause I know there's an elbow right
All
at
it
the
says
end,
here-
instead of being at a 45, they dropped it straight down, and that's a problem.
All it says here is camera service for main line.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell me anything about how far it was. I can ask my boy, he can figure things out for me, so that's, Aaron to take care of that. But
I
like I
will
said,
say,
that just came through today. I just opened the emails today, so there you go.
Cause if they gotta cut the asphalt, then they gotta replace the asphalt.
I will say that I have worked with Lakeshore at the racetrack and they did a great job for us, so.
They've been, I mean, anytime we've called, they're right on top of getting there, so. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop you, but I didn't wanna leave the meeting without telling you what you asked for.
Thank you.
did you say 6,500?
6,500.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than ours.
Probably.
Okay,
So Jason,
I guess we're
you
gonna
wanna-
adjourn the meeting at 8:17
Record, isn't it?
Yeah.
PM. We're trying to get out before it gets dark, too late.
Hey, kid.
I just had a thought, but we could buy.
Thanks for coming.
Rechargeable flashlights, just counter there, when people leave, use.
The courtesy
We can
light,
order them out.
the courtesy light?